Welcome to Riverbend Talent. I'm Dennis.
And I'm Pigpen.
Another exciting edition of this one, taped in advance because it's Halloween night. We're out Halloweening.
It is. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Pigpen could be knocking on your door any minute.
And you don't know what I'm going to be dressed as.
Well, it might have. If they look at an old video, you might be a caveman.
I might be a caveman.
Hey, I'm excited tonight. We have Riverbend Paranormal in to do an investigation of the Stratford Hotel.
Pretty exciting. We got Rob Klaus, Tim Maloney, and Jenn Riley of Riverbend Paranormal. They came in, about a week or so ago, and we taped this interview in advance knowing we'd be out for Halloween. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it is cool stuff, and it's cool to have somebody like Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Boris and Macias Insurance allowing us to do crazy stuff like we did when we went around with Riverbend Paranormal. And now this is the second time we done an investigation on the Hotel Stratford. Two completely different investigations. Very interesting to see both techniques.
Absolutely,
and,
completely different.
Yeah, we're hopefully we'll have last year's investigation up as well on our YouTube channel, so you can do the same thing. You can compare the two investigations. But this year, Riverbend Paranormal, we got a little flack last year because we went outside of the Riverbend area, which we should have known. Well, we got plenty of talent here. You knew Dr. Lynch.
That was it. It wasn't that I was trying. We were trying to go outside the Riverbend area. We called someone we knew, and I've known Dr. Lynch for a long time. So
yeah, it was cool. Yeah. So anyway, so that's going on tonight on the show, and we'll have that coming up for you in just a bit. But we got to talk about what's going on tonight around the Riverbend. Halloween Sea Shanty Thursday night, right down at the Morrison's Irish Pub. So I wonder if they do like trick-or-treat versions of sea shanties.
I don't know, or maybe just everybody gets dressed up.
Like a Monster Mash sea shanty.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
Right. Well, I bet you DJ Janice would spin Monster Mash for you down at Bossanova tonight if you wanted him to. Maybe. I don't know.
I bet he would.
If he heard it was announced on the radio. Try that. If I heard on the radio he'd play Monster Mash if I came down. Right.
Also, tonight we've got the open mic night at the Ragin Cajun, hosted by Jamie Dunn and Devin McCleandon. Sorry about that, Devin McCleandon.
How about a Cajun Monster Mash down at the Ragin Cajun? Right?
Right. Also, the open mic night at Germania Brew Haus every Thursday night.
If you're up in Edwardsville, DJ Josh at the back bar, and the Melodies doing the Stagger in again.
Awesome. I haven't got to see the Melodies yet, but Jimmy G tells me I should definitely check them out, so I might have to get out there and see them.
All right, well, we need to take a break. We'll be back, and we'll talk about Friday and Saturday, what's going on around the Riverbend. You're listening to Riverbend Talent, and we'll be back after this. It's brought to you by Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Boris of Macias Insurance. I'm Dennis.
I'm Pigpen.
Another segment of Riverbend Talent brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Boris of Macias Insurance.
And we're going to cover some Friday gigs here for you, Friday and Saturday, right?
Right.
Let's do it because we got a real good show coming up with the people from Riverbend Paranormal.
Another investigation of the Hotel Stratford, so stick around for that. And, we talked last week about the first show. We're going to talk about this segment, and that's the Phantasmagoria II.
Yeah.
We talked about
three already.
I know.
That was kind of crazy. That was kind of crazy that we skipped over 2 and was talking about 3 last week already. But Phantasmagoria II is happening this Friday, November 1st. That's down at Jacoby's Art Center. You've got Little Aliens on the Prairie, SuperFun, Rocketship, and Jesus Christ Supercar.
Right.
And that's doors at 6:30. Show starts at 7:30. All ages welcome.
$10 at the door, and come dressed.
Halloween.
They're still doing Halloween, and they love Halloween at Jacoby's Art Center. So they're going on Friday night. And as we mentioned on last week's show, at this point, that is, out of all the shows we've done, are covered here on Riverbend Talent, the best 3 band names.
Best 3 band
on
names
any
on
bill.
Best 3 band names on a bill right there.
Right. And to qualify, if you're out there trying to come up with a better one, that means if you have 4 bands, then all 4 bands have to have a name. It's, we're not going to just break this down to 3. We're going to make it tough.
You've got to beat it. You can't tie the record.
So we're looking for 8 or 9 really good band names.
Anyway, that's a Phantasmagoria II. That's at Jacoby's on Friday night. So that's a good show set up down there. And that's by Warm Soda Magazine, who was our guest last week.
And
some of the girls.
We got to mention, once again, that SuperFun, Rocketship, is the world's tallest band. We have video to prove it.
Yeah.
At Cottonmouth Out of Work. So check out the SuperFun Rocketship show from Jacoby's. It was a warm soda event from the past.
Yeah, that was their year anniversary or something like that. But anyway, all right. So that's going on Friday. Also Friday, Alfred Banks at 8 p.m. at the back room of the Bottle and Barrel.
Right on. Nightlife down at Shea Maryland's in Alton. Flip the Frog doing Halloween at Bluff City Grill in Alton. And then Hooky doing Deutsch Village Inn on Friday. And if you do Friday at Deutsch, you also do Saturday, right?
There you go.
Dead Man's Bridge at the Pump House on Friday night.
Right. We also got, wait a minute, DJ Josh at the back bar up in Edwardsville on Friday night. And then Pat Liston at Papa Vito's in Belleville.
Right. Decades apart doing Patrick's in Granite City on Friday night. Scott and Michelle, 6 p.m. at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. And Dan Sproat, 5 p.m. at Aries Winery in Grafton.
All right, here we go. We got a Halloween costume party with Flipside, 7 p.m. at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton, Illinois.
And Exit 52, acoustic, 8 p.m. at Locals Bar in Pawnee. So if you're in Pawnee, you go to the Locals Bar.
That's a new venue. Right. I don't know that one.
That wraps up Friday night, though.
There you go. Saturday, back down at Jacoby's Art Center, we got the 2019 Gala with News Channel 5 Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell from 6 to 9:30 p.m. Man, if you've never seen Scott Connell play music, I don't know he's going to do that. He's going to.
First of all, you got the wrong place for the venue.
Oh, it says Jacoby's Art Center.
No, they present their 2019 Gala with News Channel 5 Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, 6 to 9:30 in the Commons at Lewis and Clark College. And you had some fun times in that Commons, so I know you know exactly where that's at.
This is what I'm going to say about it. First of all, I love Jacoby's. It's not at Jacoby's, but I love them for sponsoring us. I have had a great time at the Commons in Lewis and Clark. And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
Matt Chambers is my boy.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just talking smack.
You are.
Saturday, that's all going on Saturday at the Commons in the Lewis and Clark College area there.
Justice and the Experience doing 9 p.m. at the back room, Bottle and Barrel in Alton on Saturday. And Paul Cruda at Morrison's Irish Pub in Alton.
There you go. Laney and Julie, 7 p.m. at the Old Bakery Brewery. And someone at Shea Maryland's at 8 p.m. Don't know who. Here we go. This is one we kind of talked about. We got a few weeks down the road, we're going to have Tommy Fleming, who books the bars at Third Shoot In. And we talked to him a little bit about how they're going to do more than just bands. He's booking entertainment, including cabaret.
Right.
So we're going to have Sometimes Cabaret on Saturday night at Third Shoot, and that's featuring peekaboo songstress Sophia Desade.
That's probably Day Sade.
Desade.
Right.
Sophia Desade. And
you can have that one. Daring, I don't know. Cirque?
Daring Cirque?
I don't know.
Luna Amaris.
And drag divas Sierra St. James and Marquise Saturn Sanchez.
Marquise Saturn Sanchez. That just sounds dirty somehow.
Well,
I don't know how.
We've got cabaret and drag queens at Third Shoot, 10 o'clock Saturday night. Billy Hurst down at the Pump House at 5 to 8, and then Trixie Delight at the Pump House at 9:30 on Saturday.
All right, we got TJ Hernandez plays Jason Nash's 40th B-Day party, and that's at Baker's and Hale. And I believe TJ's got a second album coming out, so we're going to have to get him on. We've never had him on. It's time.
Lanny and Julie at the Hog Pit in Grafton on Saturday. Jeff Newman at Aries Winery in Grafton. Big Wheel at the Grafton Winery from 3 to 7.
I do like the Big Wheel name there. So, also we've got what do we got?
George's Local Brew, 7 o'clock. They'll have some action there, and then Hicktown 9:30 at Timeout Sports Bar in Troy. That's the one in Troy.
All right.
Right, and here you go. Great drummer coming to town at the Wild E. Carl Palmer's ELP Legacy. Yeah, I'd like to see that one.
Carl Palmer is Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. All three just phenomenal at what they do. So there you go. Carl Palmer. Man, Al Canal kills it up there at the Wildy. He's always bringing in those cats that you want to hear. So
man, that dude's a machine too, Carl Palmer. So.
Oh yeah, so there you go. So that wraps up our Friday and Saturday in the Riverbend area, right?
That's right. And now we'll head off to investigate the Stratford with some Riverbend Paranormal in our next segment right here on Riverbend Talent, brought to you by Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance. Back with more Riverbend Talent. I'm Dennis.
I'm Pigpen.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Pigpen. Wait.
Welcome back.
Right.
Mr. Cotter. All right, yeah, and this is our Halloween show.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, indeed. And this year we got Riverbend Paranormal with us. So we've got Jenn Riley.
Hi.
We've got Tim Maloney.
What's up?
And we've got Rob Klaus.
That's me.
That's Chim Chim.
And that's Thunder
Chim
Snow.
Chim and Thunderclap.
Snow.
Oh, no. That's not right. Sorry. I'm sorry, Rob. Rob Klaus.
Just Facebook.
Just gonna.
All right. We don't want to start throwing nicknames around because then you'll call me Opal the hot little bitch. Nah. Anyway, we're going to do our Halloween show.
Right.
It is Halloween tonight. And we actually walked upstairs with these guys.
Right.
And this is a pretty creepy old building here. Did you guys feel anything going on upstairs?
Yes, I did. I didn't really feel anything, honestly, until I went into the kitchen, and it was like a brick wall of just energy right in my face. It was a little uncomfortable.
When you first walked upstairs, you didn't really feel any
Not at first.
a lot of entities there in the dining room or in the reception area.
No.
Right? Huh? How about you guys?
I'd go on the evidence. So I really don't have real sensitive feelings to what's there and what's not, and I was just kind of going on it. So, I mean, we got the one response in the bar area, which was a good response on the EDI. So, and then we got to look at the evidence we got with you guys and go from there, really.
We seen the temperature drop in that room, right?
The temperature dropped a few degrees, and we were getting some good EMF readings.
And people could say, well, temperature can drop anywhere, especially in an old drafty building, but we're talking about a drafty building that a bunch of people just walked into a room. If anything, the temperature should be going up. We just brought a bunch of heat with us.
It dropped pretty significantly. It was like 6 degrees. It went down. That's pretty rapid. And there was no draft by it at all. I walked over and checked it.
Yeah, and for that many people to walk into a room that size, the temperature should have went up, not down. So that was I found that interesting that I was watching that temperature gauge go down and go, all right, there's all of us just walked in this room.
And there's a lot of hot air between the three of us, so I mean, it should have went up real high.
Right.
So
how about you when you first walked up there?
When I first walked up, I love buildings like this, so I was kind of charging up the stairs because I just run right in, and it felt like Jenn had said, it was like a brick wall. When I got to the top of the steps, it was almost like people were standing there at the top of the steps, like, what are you guys doing? Or, hey, there's people coming in. It felt like that front room was very active, like people just running around and just kind of, moving about, doing their own daily business. But like Jenn said, it almost feels residual. It almost feels like, there's no real intelligence behind it. It's just recordings in time playing over and over and over again.
Huh. Interesting.
It is interesting.
And I could see something like that up in a bar-type area where it's just the same routine every day. Mm-hmm. We just go to the bar and drink and play the piano and have a good time here at the Stratford.
Well, you think
I want to live here.
You think about like a bar, there's a lot of emotion that goes into bars. People, are there having a good time. People go to drink away, whatever the bad day that they had. So there's a lot of emotion in bars. So that's a really good way to imprint residual energy into a place like that. And I think that's probably what was going on.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
So Tim and I were talking a little bit about what you really mean about residual energy, and he made a comment about like if someone walked by the piano every day and just hit a key or whatever, it kind of lingers forever, I guess. Is that what we mean by residual? Can you explain that a little more?
It's almost like, everybody's heard the stories of, if you drive down, Old Hollow Road on, a rainy night, you'll see a hitchhiker on the side of the road. And, it's just the environmental conditions. And we know that things like limestone, and Alton's full of limestone, can actually pick up and record. It's so bizarre to say because I'm a mechanical engineer during the day. and it sounds so bizarre to say, but it's almost like an energy that gets stored in the environment and just replays over and over and over again. And usually it's around tragic events.
Yeah. Well,
to think of rocks holding energy isn't really far fetched, but it's
right.
I mean,
you think
rocks
about
hold energy.
The crystal radios that they used to make.
Their own energy.
Yeah, I mean that if you have a solar pack, you can put that energy into a stone to hold it, and then bring it out later, and you know, I mean, so that's not really that far-fetched for me to think of.
Well, there's, religions and different things that say everything's alive, and there's energy in everything, and it's all connected in some way. So I guess that's what you're kind of getting at, that there's energy in things as well as people.
It just replays over and over and over, and it's usually the environmental conditions. Mm-hmm. That's why you hear these old stories about, hitchhikers on the side of the road on rainy nights and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So in a scientific mode, you're kind of trying to plow through that and look for a different type of energy, right? Something that's more what we would call a ghost, I guess.
Intelligent, right. Okay. Yeah, and that's where, when we get EVPs. I've got electronic voice phenomenon. I've gotten both residual and intelligent, mm-hmm. and I've got one that's residual where someone says, "Old Mary's going to die here."
Over and over and over, huh?
Well, no, it just says Old Mary's going to die here.
Okay.
Well, there is no Old Mary that lives there. It's an abandoned building, so,
Yeah.
Doesn't mean Old Mary's not going to die there. Old Mary might be a transient that walks in a week later and keels over.
Well,
I'm just saying, don't dispute the voices.
Instead of telling me who's going to die there, give me the winning lottery numbers for you to give me future information.
Right, yeah. So you guys have been investigating around our town for quite some time now. Rob, where are you from?
I'm actually from Alton.
Okay. Now, Tim, you're from St. Louis, right?
I am. I'm originally from St. Louis. I just moved to Alton almost 2 years ago. So I'm kind of new and fresh to the area.
So, being an outsider coming to this town, we've been declared one of the most haunted towns in the world, I guess.
Yeah, it's a whole new area in general. I mean, from living in St. Louis, and there's always hustle bustle and crappy traffic, and you have to look for a location and travel outside to find somewhere, and you come here and you're like, I'm just going to neighbor's house and see the dead guy walking down the stairs real quick. It's different. But I like it.
There's plenty of places in St. Louis, though, that are famous.
There are plenty of places in St. Louis, but it's a lot more traffic.
I see.
I mean, just people traffic in general, than over here. I mean,
and gunshots.
And gunshots, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
That's a big problem over there. We won't get into that. We can't figure that one out.
Right on. And of course, Jenn, we know you're from Godfrey, right? Because
I grew up in the Bethalto area, but I've been living here for all my life, pretty much, except for when I was in the military. So.
Right. Mm-hmm. Where were you at in the military?
All of Texas. I get to see all of Texas, you guys.
Air Force.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Austin and Dallas? Cool.
Oh, yeah. Goody.
It's almost a whole state.
I know. I'm just teasing, man.
It takes forever to go through Texas, man. Yeah. So, but Jenn, your sister is Rochelle, who's on Ghost Hunters, right?
Yeah.
And bringing up Ghost Hunters for folks that don't know, that all came out of Riverbend Paranoia, the two of them, right? Rochelle and what's the other guy's name? Bob or Jerry or something?
Brian Murphy.
Brian Murphy.
He shows up everywhere, right?
Yeah, Brian Murphy. He's all over the place, I think.
He is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that come right out of Alton, though, those two, and that was Brian's dream, right? Well, in a way, he really wanted to be on Ghost Hunters, so he contacted them, and eventually they said, "Hey, let's check these guys out." How excited were you guys to know that was going to go down?
I think for Jenn, it was probably a little different because that's your sister, your little sister at that.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird.
Yeah.
I still think it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird. I mean, it's like I have a picture of her face with her signature on it at home. I'm like, boy.
Big sister, right? Yeah.
I love her and I'm proud of her, but it's still weird. It's still, even though I see them every week on TV, to see the both of them up there on the TV, it doesn't seem like real life. But also, we look at the videos that we shoot in the dark when they were on the team. I'm like, it really doesn't look different.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen them on night vision before, you know?
It's cool for me.
Cool.
A lot of people that do this started out watching ghost hunters and really get into it because they did it different, and they made points and they tried to prove the unprovable. And that's where a lot of us, I mean, me included.
I started watching ghost hunters as a child, as like a teenager.
Yeah, so you get in that now, your friends and family are on it. And you're like,
and you're friends with Grant Wilson.
Right.
I hung out with him on my birthday.
Nice.
I was like, this is weird. And I told him, I said, I used to watch you on TV. He goes, I feel so old. I was like, you are kind of old. But it's cool. It's like, it doesn't seem like real life.
Right.
It
surreal.
Yeah, totally.
So I imagine that's brought more attention to your group, though, too, right?
Absolutely.
Paranormal.
Yeah, we've gotten we do a lot of private cases with people that need help in their homes, and and Jenn's our case manager, and it's definitely gotten a lot busier because people are like, oh, you guys know the ghost hunters coming up, and you really have to watch that because people just want attention.
Yeah.
And I also think a lot of times they're expecting Brian and Rochelle just to show up, like they're not off filming a major television show somewhere.
Contact us and be like, Brian and Rochelle be there? No, they're
busy
across the country filming ghost hunters. They're not going to come to your house in wherever it is.
But Jenn will come. She kind of looks like Rochelle and sounds like her too.
Yeah. She'll come to your house. You can just pretend.
Well, I thought maybe, because they might have heard a rumor you guys were going to go up in the Stratford, they might kind of sneak in there. Weren't they in town doing some kind of appearance or something?
Yeah, that's why they aren't here, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have came.
Yeah,
But
Brian's at the library learning how to read. And Rochelle's there teaching him.
They're doing a Q&A.
They're doing a Q&A at Wood River Library.
Learning how to read.
I'm going to get punched. I don't know if either of you met Brian. He's large, and he can hurt me. And he's probably going to punch me,
and do other
which is fine.
You don't have to say that. He's not going to listen to this.
He's not going to listen to this.
Well, wait a minute, though. You guys got something on him. You've been in the Stratford.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He's going to want to know something.
But then
about
he's been in places that we look at and we're like, you suck.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Well, we can make some stuff up now.
Yeah, we saw a couple full body apparitions up there. No, it's weird for me because I've known Brian since high school. You know, Brian and I and Matt Pace. The three of us were inseparable. We were together every weekend, and now to see him on TV, it's like.
Yeah, but those guys are never on Riverbend Talent on the Big Z.
They never made it to this level of stardom.
Yeah.
You hear that, Brian?
Man.
You hear that, Brian? Screw you.
You're with Pigpen now. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all of you. You probably all had better things to do tonight.
I would have been sitting at home.
Watching ghost hunters?
Watching ghosts in your house.
We did it with Rochelle.
We did that last night with Rochelle.
Well, she live tweeted the entire time.
So really, we watched Ghost Hunters and she was tweeting. So she was just an apparition on our couch.
Right. She's like, I lived it. I don't need to watch it.
She's like, man,
They're so
I gotta
busy.
tweet for 3 hours. They'll suck.
And it's funny when they do these live tweets, they get on there and people ask questions, and sometimes I get on there and ask ridiculous questions like, if you could be a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
It's easy. What do you mean? That's willow. I'd be a weeping willow. I'm sad. I'm very sad.
I would have gone with palm trees so you could hang out on the beach all day.
I like that better.
Yeah.
One thing I notice you guys say often is that you're there to help people.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit. Somebody has a ghost and I guess they want it out or something like that. How do you help them?
That's a big thing for us. We do. We try to help as many people as possible. Like our services, we don't charge obviously for them to go to somebody's house and help them because they're in need. I mean, so they contact us and they'll send us an email or they'll send us a message on Facebook, and then Jenn will go through an interview process, seeing what's going on, have them keep a journal, and then we set up a time for us to go out and really give them some kind of relief or make them feel better about the situation, because not all spirits, I'm not even saying any spirits are bad, and there probably are some grumpy ones, but they don't know any better, and we don't know any better, and if they're in your house, it's kind of different for you. I mean, if somebody's knocking on your bedroom door at 2 o'clock in the morning and there's nobody home, or you hear children laughing in your house, but you don't have any kids, that has a tendency of scaring people, and it's more about helping people, and we try to do the best we can with that, and any way of giving them any kind of relief we can for them to understand and overcome the situation just to make their lives better.
Now, do you try to have spirits move on to help them? Do you ever try to...
I'll share some stuff with you. I just wrapped up a private case, like this week. From the get-go, I was like, this place is not haunted. There's nothing going on. Like, I knew that I told you I'm more of a sensitive. I knew from the beginning. I'm like, this is not what's happening. They're getting freaked out, but I don't think it has anything to do with spiritual stuff at all. So we ended up going and doing an investigation there, and honestly, it's just a family dynamic and negative energy. Not ghosts and stuff like that. So what we tend to do, we have resources of some people that can come and help smudge a house. Like, I am now able to go smudge or cleanse somebody's house. A lot of times just offering some sort of peace of mind is enough.
Placebo.
Sometimes that's the case, but just offering some sort of peace of mind, or even giving them tools and ways. Like, I've told people, I'm like, hey, I've had stuff in my house, and whenever it's bugging me, I tell it to go the hell away. I say, okay, that's enough for tonight, go away. And I'm like, and usually just doing that will make things stop. But sometimes it's just dysfunction and an environment that can... it's easier to blame paranormal than to face your problems head on and figure out what's going on with you. Right. It's a lot easier to just say, oh, it's a ghost, or this.
Sometimes it's an environmental condition too.
We had high EMF in places, and that caused problems.
I had a case 2 years ago, I think, and the lady kept saying that she was hearing voices, and this thing was telling her it was going to kill her, and all this stuff. And we show up, and we pop out a couple EMF meters, and the EMFs were through the roof. And I said, well, what's, it was all coming from the bottom half of the wall. And I said, well, what's below here? And we went down. All the wiring for the whole building was right there. And I said, you don't need a paranormal investigator. You need an electrician.
Right. Yeah.
So she called an electrician out, and she called me about a week later crying. She's like, you solved our problem. I thought I was going crazy. I thought something was going to kill me. And it was just as simple as because high EMFs can cause hallucinations. And
if you guys are curious about that, just look up EMF waves and read up on it, because they can cause so many things.
Yeah,
it can make you audio and like visual hallucinations too, not just feeling sick or feeling creeped out or like you're being watched, but also you can hallucinate seeing things too. So
what do you think about digital smart meters? Just had to bring that up. A lot of people talk about getting sick from stuff like that, though. I worry about
all this 5G. I'm like, how many tumors am I going to have?
Right.
I'm talking on the phone. Who knows?
Not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
So something, though, that I do want to ask about is the technology that's come along for you guys to do investigation. Now, we've seen technology blow up in everything we do. How about you guys? Is it the same thing with the tools you use?
Yeah, and I think we've taken a turn away from anything built for actual paranormal.
Okay.
I mean, people are using REM pods and stuff like that, and we've taken a turn from that. We're using stuff for scientific data to show that there's an actual change in the atmosphere. And if we have somebody on our recorder saying something at this time, and we match it up to our data on our logger, and it says, well, the pressure dropped and humidity went up and there's vibrations and, your EMF spiked all of a sudden, and it matches up with that audio, you're like, okay, well, there's 2 pieces of proof that it happened at this time and this time at the same time, instead of saying, well, somebody could have whispered in the background. That's why we have a big thing when we're doing radio or we're using our recorder.
But nobody whispers. Visual stuff too.
We got visual stuff, but you don't whisper when you're recording. Because that way, you're listening to it here.
I was whispering a lot of stuff up there.
You hear it in the background. And
we know. We heard.
Yeah.
You should have warned me that ahead of time.
So, even in catching video and stuff, using the technology on the cameras nowadays is unbelievable compared to what it was 15 years ago.
Right.
You're running 400 feet of 5 wires, and you got really blurry video, and now all of a sudden you can see everything, and you can see the moth fart when it flies by the camera. It makes a big difference in what we do. You gotta go?
She's gotta go.
All right,
Jen.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much, Jen, for joining us, and I'm glad you got to walk around up in Stratford for a while.
I'd love an opportunity to do like a real thorough.
Oh, you're gonna come back. We're gonna have you back.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You're a bigger star than your sister now.
I know.
You've been on Riverbend Talent.
People be like, I thought that was you on TV.
Exactly.
No, it's not.
Wait till they find out you're on our show.
I know you're on here, local.
Man.
There you go.
You might get like one tweet or
This
something.
is a competition. Give me a
There she
Twitter
goes.
account.
I just found out how to use
So I
one
can
of those.
twat.
God, so now, and then there were two.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about her. Just so you know.
Talk about it.
Mom left the room. Now all hell's gonna break loose.
Man, what
So
was
these-
wrong with her? What
She
was
made
up
some
her
signals behind you, by the way.
Right, I got to go home to her, so I got to watch it. 'Cause
All right,
when,
well.
you know, she goes back and listens.
She's
gonna-
a sweetheart.
she's
We've
lovely.
got
She's
a
the
few
best thing
days
going for you.
before this comes out. So
Enjoy those days.
maybe you can, calm her down by the time it comes out.
Yeah, no, by the time this comes out, I'm hoping there's something else that has happened. So we'll talk about that later.
You'll
'Cause
screw something else up between now and
no,
then.
I hope not, because is she gone out of the building? She
Yeah.
can't hear me outside or nothing?
She's fine.
No, you're good.
She'll just hear the playback on the radio. It's fine.
On the 31st, right?
Yeah, on the 31st.
Well, now I can say it out loud. I'm going to ask her to marry me on Saturday.
Oh, check that out.
I know. So since
Breaking
she can't-
news
I know, right here. You guys heard it first.
Yeah,
So
breaking
now when this
news.
goes back,
Happy Halloween, Jen.
it's her favorite. It's her favorite holiday. So
Now,
We know something. you didn't know.
congratulations.
Oh, thank
unless
you.
She
Wait,
says no.
she hasn't said yes yet.
When she says
if she,
no,
sa-
then
if
I'm
she says
so
no, I'm
sorry.
going back to St. Louis, and you guys won't see me no more.
Jen, say no.
Dang.
I shouldn't say that.
Real quick before we jump off to what you were talking about with
Right.
the technology, I want to talk a little bit about the radio skipping frequencies.
Yeah.
Let's talk about explain that to the listeners again. We talked about it
Essentially,
between
we
us,
used to use it's an SB7 or
Spirit. It's called a
yeah,
Spirit Box.
Spirit Box.
But we take a different approach to using
Okay.
it. So normally you put it out and you hear. You guys have probably seen on TV. You hear like all these noises. It's scanning.
right.
And the way it was changed was, well, when you're asking questions out loud and everybody hears it, like if I ask out loud and Rob's listening to it blare over a speaker, but he heard my question, his mind is going to think that he hears something that's not there. So we're doing.
Mind will fill in the
Yeah, it'll fill in the
Right.
answer. So you're kind of like, you're biased and you're kind of foggy. So what we did is we changed it up and put drummer's headphones on, so you have no
Nice.
contamination.
We
I
know
mean, they're-
exactly what you mean.
and a blindfold, and ask the questions. And then he'll be, if he has the headphones and blinders on, he's just spitting out whatever he hears.
It's amazing because the person with the headphones on can't hear the questions.
right.
But it's amazing how many times that the answer actually matches the question that was being asked. It's really phenomenal.
Yeah, we've gotten some really good data off it, and you're on a recorder with it too. So it's not only that the people are just saying, "Oh, I heard that." Well, the recorder's hearing the question and the answer.
Right.
So it's a different approach to things. You have to take a different approach because the same thing's been happening. What we do has been changing. I mean, change is nonstop because people are finding more out and they're learning more, and you're trying to figure more out. I mean, between me and Rob, there's almost 40 years of experience of doing this. I mean, that's a long time to be doing. It's a full-time job outside of our
Right.
normal jobs.
It is.
I mean, and I'm a dad, so I have kids too. Between me and Jen, there's 5 kids.
Yeah.
and that's a whole flock.
That's a lot of kids.
I haven't figured out how this works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And musicians do the same thing. We totally get what you're throwing at us,
Yes.
So yeah.
So it's a full-time job, and we have fun doing it, though. I mean, we run Riverbend every day. We're on the phone every day with people, like figuring something out and learning new stuff. And
Dude, are you the
researching.
guy on Ghost Hunters?
You're talking about you and Jen having 5 kids. How do the kids take what you do?
Some of the kids are interested.
Yeah.
The younger ones, not so much. My 10-year-old daughter is absolutely terrified of it, but her 11-year-old daughter absolutely wants to do it with us.
Right.
And my boys want to do it, and then her youngest daughter is scared. So it's kind of mixed feeling,
bag.
but we don't hide it from
we
them.
do kids days too. You know, like there's actually a kids day coming up in at Mineral Springs where kids of all ages can run around and just kind of hang out with us and do their own little investigations.
Nice.
And it's nothing threatening or anything like that. Kids absolutely love it.
Yeah, we've been hosting those for a few years and teach kids what the paranormal's about. Let them use some of our equipment and play around with.
So that they're not scared of things like this, because it's really not that scary. We look at spirits as being just people without bodies,
Right.
without a physical body, and when you put it in that context, it's just another person.
The only time paranormal investigating is scary is when you're in a dark room alone with Rob.
Right.
He's handsy.
Mostly because you try to hold my hand.
I get scared easy. I'm a big sensitive guy.
Yeah. Don't go in the dark room with Rob would be my advice.
I try not to.
And
what happened to you,
Pig? Love seeing with him wear 2 pairs of underwear because he's persistent.
Didn't you guys?
I'm sorry. I got off track there. I thought we were someone else.
You guys snuck off.
Who have you been talking to?
Dennis.
You got a big mouth.
Yeah, well.
So, anyway, I forgot. I'm sorry. What were we talking about? Paranormal.
Paranormal. I really
Love
don't.
Scenes with Rob.
It's off the rails now. I have no idea what's happening.
I told you. Yeah. Riverbend Paranormal at that, man. And appreciate you guys coming in and checking out the Stratford with us for a little while.
Yeah, it's a really cool building.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of what we love about what we do. Is we get to go in these old buildings and just see we're seeing the history up close, and personal, and part of what we do not only is helping people, but helping the owners of these buildings raise awareness and earn money so that they can, help restore these buildings and keep them going. Because if you tear down the Stratford, people in 50 years are going to be, I remember that old hotel.
Yeah.
But if you tear it down, you put a subway. 50 years from then, nobody's going to say, "Hey, I remember there used to be a subway there."
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's going to care.
Yeah, and we even if a place doesn't charge us, we usually always donate money to their historical society or whatever, just to make sure the building stays intact. That's like we do Otterville Schoolhouse, which is Hamilton Primary in Otterville, Illinois. It was the first integrated school in the United States.
Interesting.
Wow.
But it's run by a little society of women.
Yeah.
And they try to keep it up, but they don't get funding. They raise it from doing events and tours and stuff. So when we go in there, we bring people and we make a donation. Right. We're like, we want to see this stuff be here for the next generation of paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
We want the history to stay alive, and all of us, I think, we're all into history.
Okay.
And just looking back on it and being curious about what happened and why it happened and what's going on with it.
Yeah, that was kind of my question that you just answered is why is this so important, for you guys to be doing this, for a general public, and I never thought about history being a big reason why you guys do this.
And curiosity. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm curious. I'm a very curious person. If I don't know why it works or what's happening, why it's working or what's happening or why.
I learned that upstairs.
I want to learn why it's happening, and I know Rob's the same way. If he doesn't know why it's happening or why it's working like that, he wants to figure it out.
Yeah, it's some of the experiences that we just had, it's incredible. It's mind-boggling, some of the experiences that we've had. Tim and I have been investigating together for a couple of years now, and the experiences that we have together in locations are pretty outstanding when you really look at them. It just you end up leaving and you end up scratching your head going, did that just happen? Yeah, it happened. We both experienced the same thing at the exact same time.
And we're like, everybody in this group spends a lot of time together. I mean, most people think, oh, you guys do it a couple. No, we do. This is a month. I mean, we're together a few times a month.
Right.
I mean, you spend a lot of time with these people.
Like family.
Yeah, it's like a big family. We spend a lot of time together.
Nice.
I mean, and you fight like family and everything else.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna hit you with this flashlight really quick if you don't shut up. But no,
I'm not calling you Dad.
Please don't.
Even if there's a fire.
Easy there, Thunderclap.
Whatever, pigsty. I don't know.
I love it. That's great. But I know what you're saying about when you have those experiences. I've had a few experiences where I question the reality of it all, and I've had several times in my life where I go, did that really just happen? And if so, why? And what was it that whispered in my ear? I think it's neat that you guys are going out. I want to ask you, you're talking about history. Have you checked out the old Civil War grave stones that are where the Civil War prison used to be?
Oh, yeah, we got a bunch of stuff coming. I mean, we have so much stuff coming up with our group. I mean, it's nonstop. I mean, we're everywhere. I mean, we're traveling a bunch next year. We got, where are we going on the 2nd of November? Our theater.
Yeah.
The 2nd of November. I mean, we travel all over the place.
Nice.
And, we stay busy.
Yeah. Do you think you'll quit your day job at some point? Is that good?
If I'm on Ghost Hunters, I'll quit my day job. But until then, doing this costs me money. It doesn't make me any money.
It's funny you mentioned the Confederate prison. That's kind of like when Brian and Matt and I were in high school, one of the local legends that we always heard was that, people who lived near the old prison, if they barbecued outside or grilled outside, you'd hear prisoners screaming, begging for food. Oh. And that was like an urban legend. And before we knew any better, we decided we were going to go down there because Steve and DC were at the McPike Mansion doing a Halloween show. We were like, yeah, let's go down there and see if there's any truth to this, and we'll listen to the show and stuff. And it never happened. And I kind of like to look at that as kind of like the very first spark of Riverbend Paranormal, where it kind of started. And it was kind of, all these years later.
With my question about the Confederate prison, then that's where it all started.
Dang, I knew you are a serious journalist.
I'm into it,
man. It's mind blowing.
You just really thought, hey, what's that big pile of rocks over there?
Hey, look at these rocks. I was down there kicking them around, throwing them in the river. I didn't know.
How about Mineral Springs Mall? We hear a lot of stories down there. Tell us something about Mineral Springs Mall that fascinates you guys.
Man, that place is awesome.
Yeah,
it is.
It's like our home base. I mean, we're there all the time. I mean, I go there even when we're not investigating to hang out with people down there and just kind of walk around the building. And the experiences down there it's usually never the same.
Yeah.
Everything reacts a little different every day. And it's probably one of the most active places I've ever been. Wow. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, if you guys get a chance to go down there, I mean, if we're hosting a public event or something, people need to come down and check it out. I mean, the building's awesome. It's huge. You don't realize when you drive by that place, you're like, oh, it's a pretty big. You get in there, you're like, holy crap.
You get lost.
You got a dungeon down there that's like 4 stories below ground.
Yeah, it's like 5 stories tall when you really get, from the sub basement up to the top.
I was going to say 2 basements down and 3 up.
Seriously.
It's huge. I mean, you can get lost in there real quick, which isn't always a bad thing when you're investigating because you find new places.
Right.
I mean, it's bad if you're got robbed with you because he gets lost walking to his car. So
remember what I said? Let's leave the jokes to funny people.
I can't do that. I tried.
So the swimming pool's where everyone really feels it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. Yeah. And the room behind the swimming pool that a lot of people don't know is back there. It's actually a really, really. The pool area is just, and it's strange because everything echoes down there. So it's kind of this weird, almost otherworldly kind of feel to it because everything echoes and everything.
Reverby and echoey down there. And big concrete walls.
Actually, I was there. We were doing an event for Lost Limbs, and Lost Limbs is a charity that we do a lot with. They help amputee children.
Okay.
Get prosthetics and kind of help them. And we were doing an event there for Lost Limbs this past spring, and one of the guest speakers was Rebecca Foster, who's a psychic medium out of Wisconsin, and she was there, and I have the audio of it, and there were witnesses there with me to otherwise I wouldn't have believed it. But she walked around the other side of the pool, and she had said, "There's a man over here telling me to go back because bricks are falling. It doesn't make any sense." And she walked back, and we were standing there, and about 20 seconds later, brick fell. And I'm like, this is dumb now. I just want to go home.
That's when you leave.
It's just beyond wrapping my mind around it. It's just weird.
But we've also gained stuff from Mineral Springs.
Okay.
Like members and stuff. We did an event for Captain Ring and his family.
Okay.
And people were so interested and gained a couple members off of that. I mean, it's cool when you find people to do this, because it's not the easiest thing to find people to do, because when you talk about it in public, even with it being on TV, people are like, what the hell is wrong with you? Did your mother drink when she was pregnant with you? What's wrong with you?
I'm more concerned about the people that actually meet us and then want to join the team after they've met us.
Do you find it's getting easier to talk about paranormal? Because I see that with YouTube quite
over
honestly.
The last 15 years, it's been significantly easier. I mean, it's more of a norm now than it was. People are more curious also.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even when I started, I mean, you'd say that and people like, all right, we're going to go ahead and check you into this place. They have very nice padded rooms, and they give you a nice little pill every day. You'll sleep great. And now you talk about it, people are more interested. I mean, even my mom was almost 70, 66, I think, yeah. and now she's kind of into it.
Yeah.
And before, she's a Catholic Italian woman. You could never speak to 10 years ago to her about this. She would have shunned me.
Yeah.
And now I tell her about it, and she's like, oh, that's kind of... Even the older generations are getting curious because they're starting to realize and feel stuff.
Yeah.
And
you know, and it's good and bad too, because like, you know, everybody goes out and they watch, you know, I'm not going to name any names, but they watch a certain show, and when we get private calls, everybody's convinced they have a demon in their house.
That would be Ghost Adventures with Zach Baggins.
Like, no, you've got...
We weren't going to say any names, but let's say some names. That's more like it. Way to go, man.
You don't have a demon in your house. You've got drafty, you know, vents. You know, like that's, but they're convinced because of that, of things like that they've got a demon in their house. That's the bad side of it, because once they've got that in their mind, there's nothing you're going to do to convince them otherwise.
Look, if you're a grumpy person in life, you're probably grumpy when you're dead.
You know,
so you're not evil. You're just an asshole.
The good thing about it is it has made the paranormal normal. You know, it has made it easy to talk about and talk to with people. So yeah, it's got its good points and its bad points. But yeah, I think it's a lot easier now to talk about than it ever was before.
Yeah, I see a lot of that with all different types. I mean, you know, paranormal radio has grown with Coast to Coast, and then YouTube. There's all kinds of stuff you can find about absolutely anything on YouTube. And then in the major media, I mean, Ghost Hunters is a everyone knows what that is. If you say it, you know, as opposed to, you know, years ago going, what? You know, I
think Stephen DC did their Halloween show, and then, you know, Glover did his, and you know, everybody's kind of jumping on that. You know, I'm curious. I want to go out and investigate it. You know, one night a year where we're doing it.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah. A lot.
You know, but it's cool to see that, you know, other people are getting into this and going out to these same locations and kind of having the same experiences that we have from time to time.
Now, is tourism a big deal with you guys? I mean, are we drawing people from around the country to Alton because we're haunted?
I think it's big for the businesses, and I hope it is. I mean, Alton's a small town, and it thrives on businesses, especially the local areas and local businesses and stuff, and they thrive on that. And, you know, I know there's a lot of ghost tours in Alton, which really does good for everything. People go, do you run a haunted house? No, we don't. We do private tours for people. You know, we'll hold events a few times a year, but we donate all that money. I mean, we make money for people that need it. You know, but that brings money into that building, and that pays for people's jobs.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing for us, especially being local. I'm from St. Louis, where nobody helps anybody. You're on your own. I mean, really. I mean, small businesses are there, but it's not like here where everything's a local business, where you really need to cover mom and pop so they can pay the rent so they can feed the kids. You know,
absolutely.
and with all the ghost tours and stuff over here and the events, I'm hoping it helps. Just the history of this place, it helps with the future of this place.
Are you getting people from outside the area coming to your events?
We have had people from...
We actually had somebody from Canada.
We had somebody from Alaska. I had a guy fly in from Texas last event I was at.
Our 101 last year at Ashmore, we had people from Canada. They drove all the way from Canada.
Nice.
We have people come from all over the place. I mean, it's crazy. Guys like, oh, yeah, I just flew in from Texas. What? To see us?
Yeah.
Right.
Don't y'all have that stuff down there?
Yeah.
No, I wanted to come up here. Okay, that's cool. I mean, I'm flattered.
It's flattering.
Yeah, I'm flat. I have a face for radio, so I should be back here, not out there.
You know, it's flattering when people do that, though. But you know, for tourism here in Alton, after Ghost Adventures did their little special in Alton, Curse of the Riverbend, which they spelled wrong. Riverbend is one word.
Right.
But no, once they were here, there was a lot of buzz around Alton about people coming here to you know, we got a lot of messages about people wanting to go to Mineral Springs, and
we had a bridal party contact us. They wanted to do a private investigation for her bridal shower.
That's funny. I wouldn't think that would be a bridal shower.
Did you guys have to take your clothes off?
No, I'm ugly in the dark, man. I don't want to take my clothes off. Yeah, we get robbed.
I don't like the look on your face when you said that. You're like,
I didn't know how far you guys would go.
Rob had to wear Tim had to wear his chim outfit.
Oh, okay.
And kind of rip it off.
That'd be perfect.
The sexy monkey, man. That's it.
Yeah,
little beanie hat.
I don't know what you did with the banana, but anyway, after that the Ghost Adventures thing happened, though, we did an event down at Mineral, and we, normally we have roughly 35 people show up to do an investigation with us, and so we never sold tickets. Right after that, we had 70 people show up. We actually had to lock the front door to keep people out.
I don't know how hard you guys know it is to contain 70 people with a group of 8 people in a building that size.
Yeah.
I know people that run daycares that would have quit that because it was terrible. I mean, it was great that many people showed up and wanted to do something, but
there's a lot of people to deal with.
There's 8 of us and 70 of y'all, and we're trying to figure out wherever it has been, hasn't been, who's going where, who's running what team, who's running what group. By the end of the night, I'm like, I quit. I can't. I'm exhausted. We do this all the time. I'm tired, man.
Yeah. So, what's a typical event like for you guys? Do you sell tickets for the events now, I guess? Huh?
Yeah, we do. We sell them. We'll usually put them on our Facebook page, and we just got a new website. So,
what's the website?
officialriverbendparanormal.com.
Official
riverbendparanormal.com. It's very long.
I like it. Official.
But we had to be official. We got people on Ghost Hunters now. We're high rollers. No, not really. We're just some people from Alton.
No, you're helping people out. That's the important.
We are, and
that's the big thing.
We got one event coming up in November. We're going to go ahead and put a raffle out on the Facebook and website for a veteran and his family in need.
Nice.
We're doing a raffle. And people win tickets to come to a private investigation with us. There's not very many. It's a small location.
Right.
And then they win. Everybody gets a picture autographed by Brian and Rochelle. We can give them some autographed pictures.
Nice.
I thought we were trying to get people to come.
No, I know.
Sorry about that.
But no, they entered a raffle. 8 spots. Top 2 people win themselves plus 1. And then first place wins an invite to an investigation just with our team at any location we go to across the country.
Right.
And so,
nice.
So actually, I know a lot of people that would want the Brian and Rochelle autograph.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
They were nice enough to sign stuff for us.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I couldn't be more prouder of both of them. It's just really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So
to see them succeed like that.
With an event, just real quick. So I buy a ticket, I show up at Mineral Springs Mall, and you take me around and we investigate. Is that basically what the event would be?
You buy a ticket and you come in and we introduce ourselves and go over equipment and stuff, and then we'll kind of give you a tour, and then we'll investigate with you for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, we send team members to the different areas in the building and just let them go. Look, you pay to investigate. This is your investigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want me to help you, I'm more than willing to. If you want me to teach you and you want to learn, but if you've done this before, you just want to do your own investigation, go to an area team member sitting in just to make sure you're okay and investigate and have a good time. Right. People love it.
Nice.
And we try to accommodate people. Sometimes they get weird requests, like people, like one lady that wanted to go down and sit in the sub basement by herself at Mineral, and it was we won't even do that. Like, what?
If you want, we'll go down there and sit. We don't care.
Yeah.
But they pay to come with us. We're not here to do everything. We do this every day.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do this something special for them. You're paying for it. They want to do something.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll teach you everything I know, but eventually you're going to do it by yourself and have fun.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. And they go and they investigate, and people have a blast. We usually do about 25, 30 people. And we split them up into groups and just run with it. And they get to hang out with all different investigators, though, because everybody on our team has different styles.
Mm-hmm.
We're all doing the same thing, but it's a different way of doing it.
Nice.
So everybody learns different ways and gets to meet with us and talk about experiences, and it's all cool stuff. And we have a blast doing it.
Nice.
We wouldn't
That's
do it if
the
we
key.
didn't. This is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't dedicate so much time and energy to it if you didn't love what you were doing.
I probably spend more time on Riverbend stuff than I actually do on my actual job stuff, to be honest.
It sounds familiar, doesn't it?
It sounds like most of my life, story of my life right there.
Can't wait to get off work so I
if
can
it's
play my
not
guitar.
fun, and that's the one thing we do, we try to keep it fun. So it's just, you go back and you listen to your audio the next day, and you're just still laughing over the stuff that was happening the night before, because you're listening and you're reliving it again.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we try to keep it light and fun, and it's mostly just inappropriate jokes and
yeah, I had a video. We were
nonsense.
Place, and one of our team members sat on this bench. We were in this gymnasium, sat on the bench, and he's sitting there. He's like, "I'm stuck. Something's holding me down. Something's holding me down." I'm like, "What?" So I'm recording it. When he stood up, and there's a big old chunk of gum sticking him on the butt down to the chair.
Something's holding you down.
And I went back over the evidence. Was just dying laughing. I was like, "This is what I live for." And I didn't even need to see a ghost. He got stuck to the bench.
That's good, man. I'm glad you guys are out there having a lot of fun and dedicated to this, and most of all, helping people, man. That's really cool that you're giving back. And helping some of these old buildings stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's super cool, because there's so many historic buildings in this town that are falling apart that somebody's got to save them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't want all the old buildings torn down with new shiny buildings.
Right.
I would much rather see the old buildings
Right,
standing.
the architecture
Well, that's
is
what makes Alton.
amazing.
Yeah, new architecture. I mean, I'm not saying new architects don't know what they're doing, but it's very cut and paste. Old architecture was every building was its own work of art.
They were master craftsmen who built these things. They were amazing, and you know, we want to help the building owners and preserve that history. But the other part of it too for us is helping, you know, homeowners. But you know, we do charities for lost limbs, you know, which is a fantastic organization. You know, we're trying to give back to everybody that we can, and you know, give the thing that we love doing, investigating, being able to give back.
Yeah, and we love
still
helping
love what we
people.
do.
I mean, that's why we do the events to raise money for like the veterans and stuff. Like this veteran we're helping out, he just took in another kid.
Wow.
That was being abused by her father. He adopted her, and she's a teenager.
Wow.
And now he's like, I'm working 90 hours a week. He's struggling
to pay for it.
to pay for stuff, but he wants to help. So we're like, you know, why can't we help him? You know, we're fine. I mean,
so there you go, folks. Official RiverbendParanormal.com. Get out to an event. Get out to an event because it's for a good cause normally.
Yeah. Our Facebook page is always.
our Facebook page, Riverbend Paranormal. Instagram, Riverbend Paranormal.
Excellent.
Twitter. I don't tweet. I know we have one. I don't use. I use everything else, but I don't use Twitter.
We have a Twitter. I don't.
Email.
Beautiful.
What's the email? You don't know either?
Yeah. Just go to official Riverbend.
It pops up on.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming in. We're completely out of time, and hope you guys had a good time with us up there checking out the Stratford.
Cool. Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
It was awesome. We'd love to come back.
We'll do it more official next time.
Yeah.
Because they are official Riverbend Paranormal.
Official.
That's it.
Thanks a lot.
We're officially out of time.
Tim Maloney, Rob Klaus, thanks you guys. And, of course, Jenn Riley, who was here earlier. Chim, Thunder Snow. We're out, man. Thanks for
All right. Thanks for having us.
All right.
All right. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, more Riverbend talent. Final segment of Riverbend Talent. I'm Dennis.
And I'm Pigpen.
Yeah, and pretty exciting stuff there. Good time with Riverbend Paranormal, and you know, it's going to be interesting. We're going to have them back on because they do a little deeper investigation with all that fancy equipment they got. They take it home and they do a lot of analyzing and twisting and turning of dials. We know all about that.
Right. A little post-analyzation of the raw data collected on the scene before they actually come up with a conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, they could be pulling EVPs out of there that we didn't even hear, right?
Right.
And so that's interesting. And we're going to have them back on. So let's go over Sunday night real quick, and then we'll wrap this one up for a Halloween edition of Riverbend Talent, brought to you by Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance. Of course, every Sunday night, the Mondin Band doing 10-pin, and that's spooky.
Right.
Yeah.
Spooky good.
Spooky good.
Right.
That's right. You got to go check that out. If you've ever been to Alton, Sunday night's the place to be. Mike's 10-pin with the Mondin Band, and expect long breaks between sets. Every Monday night, open mic at Stagger again. On Sunday and Wednesdays, that is, at Stagger again. Bud Summers Trio doing 4 p.m. at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton on Sunday.
And we got John Jarrett, 2 p.m. at Aries Winery in Grafton. And Larry Gwaltney, 2 to 6 p.m. at the Grafton Winery. And nonstop, 1 p.m. at the Hog Pit, also down in Grafton. So a lot going on down in Grafton on Sunday, like always.
And of course, every Monday night at the back room of Bottle and Barrel, they've got the open mic. And Hill Williams down at Shea Maryland's on Mondays. So.
There you go, man. So even on Mondays, this little town's a-hopping sometimes.
That's right. Well, we got to thank once again our guests from Riverbend Paranoia, Rob Klaus, Tim Maloney, and Jenn Riley. Yeah. Big stars now that they've been on the show.
Bigger stars than their other cohorts that are on TV.
And we got the superstars coming in next week.
WPW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know which wrestlers are going to be here because they haven't told me exactly. Yeah. But we've got some folks coming in, and man, they've got a lot of stuff coming up that we need to talk about. They're pretty busy these days.
Well, let's hope all that works out because, we've had the last few guests run into some issues trying to make it to Riverbend Town. We've had one thrown in the hospital, another one twist or break his ankle. We're not even sure if that's the truth. We will get down to that at some point with Corey Davenport, though.
Well, I'm here to tell you, if the WPW doesn't show up, I'm coming looking for you.
That's right. So get out there and support local music and art, and we'll have a happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you next week.